Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid. So let's do a little bit of recap, okay? So last week's gospel reading and this week's gospel reading happen right after one another, right before, right after. It's one continuous story of one very long, very eventful day in the life and ministry of Jesus. If you remember, it began with him hearing that his close companion, John the Baptist, had been killed by Herod. And in response to that, he decides to go out to a deserted place to pray by himself. But he doesn't get that alone time, because by the time he gets to the deserted place, the crowds have all gathered tightly around where he lands, and he has compassion for them and stays with them for hours, healing them, praying with them face to face. And after that long afternoon of healing, he makes dinner for everyone out of 5 loaves and 2 fish. And then we arrive at today's gospel reading. He dismisses his disciples first, saying, "Go to the other side, I'll meet you there." Then he dismisses the crowds, and then he goes somewhere alone to pray. He gets that alone time. But evening falls. And when evening falls, the disciples are far, far from the shore and are battered by the winds and the waves. And so, from the mountaintop, Jesus begins making his way to them. Slowly. He is walking, after all, and the verse does say that that walking takes from evening until early morning. From evening until early morning. A whole night of struggle for the disciples. Wonder how they felt during that night of struggle. One of our members of our community, Anne Morley, if you know her, once told me a story. Anne is a gifted sailor. She knows how to navigate a boat. She knows how to teach other people to navigate a boat. And this started from an early age. She has been on boats since she was, before she could remember. And she has been maneuvering her own boat since she was 6. And one time, her father, who wanted to teach her how to sail, got her out nice and far from the shore and said, "I'll see you at home." And went back in his own boat, and she was out there alone, not sure what to do except sail. Sometimes there are seasons of our life marked by struggle and difficulty, pain, grief even. Could be days or weeks or years wondering, how do I get through this? Like the disciples, these seasons can be communal, can be in a family or a community or a nation. And yet, from evening until dawn, waves crashing, Jesus is on his way to them the whole time, his eyes fixed on them. What does it mean that Jesus walks on the sea? Beyond being, really cool and really interesting to look at. What is certainly impressive and even miraculous in any time or place would have been even more so in the ancient world that this first took place in. This ancient world that Jesus lived and moved and ministered in. For the ancient Middle Eastern mind, this ancient Mediterranean mind, water, the seas, were powerful and terrifying, uncontrollable, awe-inspiring. In many of the creation myths of the cultures surrounding ancient Israel, creation began not with nothing, but with chaos. And that chaos was made of water. Watery chaos in which nothing could really survive, nothing could really thrive. In many of these creation myths, there are violent gods that do battle against each other in this watery chaos, tearing each other apart and using each other's bodies to create land and other pieces of creation. Not so with Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and the world was formless, chaotic, and void, and a spirit from God hovered over the face of the waters. Genesis references this belief a little bit, but only to turn it on its head. Rather than a primordial battle into that chaos and over that water, God speaks and uses wisdom and love to create light and darkness, time, space, day, night, order, beauty. And then God separates the waters above from the waters below and creates a good open space in which life can live. In the Old Testament, God is God because he overcomes chaos, not with violent battles, but with wisdom and love, and maintains that creation with constant care and attention. And for this God, the waters become not an enemy to be battled against, an evil force to be reckoned with, but another part of creation, a creation that sings the praises of God. And yet, while certainly glorifying God, the waters, even for those who love them, are still awesome, sometimes terrifying, dangerous, and uncontrollable, especially for a small boat full of disciples. And it is in this moment that Jesus' true identity continues to be revealed and shown to the disciples and to us. For Jesus does what only this creator God can do. He masters the waters. That potent image of uncontrollable creation, and he's just walking on it. Take heart. It is I. Do not be afraid. Literally, do not be afraid. I am. The same response that Moses gets from the burning bush, the disciples get from Jesus on the waters. In the midst of their hours, their all-night-long struggle, the disciples are met by one who shows himself to be, in some mysterious way, the God they have always worshipped. Whether we fear water or not, Jesus walking on the water is not simply a magic trick or some kind of supernatural gift. For when Jesus walks on the water, he walks on everything that causes us to fear. Everything that is unstable, unpredictable, dangerous. That is what Jesus is walking on, then and today. After realizing this, one of the disciples decides to take it a step further. Lord, it is you. Command me to come to you on the water. In other words, Lord, if you really are who you appear to be right now, call me out on the waters. Call me out into the thing I feared. For if I am with you, there is nothing to fear. He does it. Peter actually does it. He walks upon the chaos towards Jesus and makes it within arm's reach. And then, whether it's loss of momentum or a particularly powerful gust of wind or just human nature, he loses it. Fear creeps back in, and it seems that these chaotic waters might have him after all. Except Peter now knows who stands in front of him. Lord, save me. There is no version of following Jesus that does not involve risk, that does not involve stepping towards what we fear. Pain, our own or others, mortality, our own or others, the chaos around us in the world. And so we struggle in the boat. And when the time is right, make a decision, step out. And even then, when, not if, when we feel afraid again, we, like Peter, thankfully, are not saved by our own power or our own spectacular abilities or even our own powerful faith, but by the one we trust, by the hand of Christ grabbing us, even when we are of little faith. When she was a few hundred feet off from the shore, little 6-year-old Anne in her boat did the best she could. She sailed as far as she could, went forward a little bit, went back a little bit. Unbeknownst to her, there was a 200 or 300-foot line connecting her boat to her dad's. There was no version of the story in which Jesus was going to let this boat go down. And there was no version of the story in which Jesus was going to let Peter fall all the way. There is no version of following Jesus that does not involve risk. And there is no version of following Jesus that involves him letting us go. So, struggle in the boat. He's got you. Step out. He's got you. And when you need to, he'll pick you up. Amen.